Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Proven Power Cycles. What? Lewis is in a Lewis. Alright. Welcome back to another episode on Proven Power Cycles. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric. That was Lewis. A new hire here named Daryl. Hey, say hi, Daryl. There's Daryl. So he is joining us recently, and he's going to go along with the journey with us. So anyway, guys, that is our current team. We also have a few other guys over there, but they're over there playing with themselves. Breaking shit. We're going to start off today. We got a 2017 ZX10R on the dyno. This week has been already kind of hectic. The first thing we wanted to kind of kick off with is the theft recovery bike is almost complete. We have everything basically back together. Now, we did run into a little hiccup. The radiator has a hole somewhere up in the upper left-hand side, I think.
Right-hand side.
Right hand? Okay.
It might be left hand. All I know is it's trickling down because of
it's.
It leaks to the left side.
I'm not gonna lie. This one's kind of tricky to find because it only shows its face really when we stand the bike up. Now on the running. Yeah, and only while it's running. See, we have no coolant underneath it currently. So once we got the coolant running, once we had the water pump running and everything was circulating in the system, that's when we noticed we had literally just a small little drip, 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 drip. It's literally enough to be like, all right, well, we can't send them out with this leak. So we're gonna have to get that fixed. But all in all, the bike is running. It is together, and now we gotta take it back apart a little bit and replace some of this. But all in all, yeah, we're missing a handful of things. We're still waiting on the slip-on. That I was honestly expecting that to be here already, but it's okay. We're also missing a couple of clips. We have a clip here that's missing. Actually, a handful of clips that we're missing throughout the bike. We're also missing a few of these riv nuts here. These are rubber grommets that need to go into this windscreen there. And some, again, just very, very, very minor things. There's a breather hose that we were missing. We just got that in, so we just got that installed. But other than that, guys, this thing is running. Hey, fires! Now we do have an FI light, but we're also missing. He does have the O2 sensor that was ripped. So we do have the sensor plugged in, like as far as into the exhaust system, but it's not plugged into the wiring harness. So he's got a couple of different options. We might even have a spare one. I don't know. We're gonna have to do some digging because usually I throw those things out. But we'll do some digging. We might have a spare O2 sensor that we can throw in there and actually route it all up and plug it in. So with that being said, the bike is very, very, very close to leaving on its final destination back with the owner, which honestly, I feel like that was pretty good. I mean, we've had it for what, like a month and a half? I think about a month and a half.
Feels like longer, but...
Yeah, I think it's been about a month and a half, So from absolutely coming in pieces, missing pieces,
so you guys seen where it was at when it first came in.
Yeah.
It was in pieces.
Yeah.
Shambles.
Literally in bags. How many? Like, I think it was like 4, 5 bags, 6 bags.
Yep.
I don't remember now, but and then I'll never forget.
Should be build a bike.
So can you grab the that red bag? So this was the bolt bag. Yeah, the mini
mouse. I think the guy had kids.
Yeah,
this is the Walgreens bag. I'm sorry.
Walgreens. So this was like the main bag here. We got just a handful of stuff left, which is kind of funny because these were the parts that we already had installed on the bike. But yeah, quite literally, this was the bolt bag. So here is our bolt bag. And yeah, so here is part of the clip for the O2 sensor. So we, this was how it came. It came separated like this. So we could solder that back, but honestly, like I said, I think we have an extra sensor that we'll actually throw in there. Here's some radiator bolts, but we've replaced those already. These are some of the studs. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, random master link. Some hose clamps, axle nuts. We've already used. We're waiting on a few more parts to come in for this. We've gotten a few small things, and those small things we've already installed. We're waiting on the bracket here, the bottle bracket mount. We thought we had that in the order. I don't know. Mistake was made. It wasn't in the order. So we're waiting on this to come in currently so that way we can get the oil scavenging pump mounted up. We're also going to borescope this thing and start getting a little deeper. We're going to remove the fuel system out of here. We did notice some kinks, and I think we've gone over this before, but we did have some kinks in the lines here and there. So we're going to rerun all of this and reroute it completely. And we're going to fix that. We're going to fix this lever. There's a bunch of little things that we got to do on this bike as well. We've ordered quite a few things. Again, it's just taking time to get some of these things in. There are some parts right now that we're getting in within a week, but then there's also a lot of other parts that we'll order up and it'll take 2 to 3 weeks. You know, it just varies, guys. For those of you who are in the middle of projects, you understand what we're talking about. For those of you who are not in the middle of projects and you're about to go into a project, you'll find out. Again, some things right now due to COVID, some things are still kind of quick and easy, you know, to get, but then there's also those other things that are like we're waiting 3-4 weeks to get. So I'm gonna get busy on this bike. I'm gonna get started on this. We might actually do a video because he's running a knockoff SC project on this one too. So he is running a fake SC project. We are going to do a regular video on this. We've done these before with other bikes, but I think it'll be really interesting to do it on a ZX10, something that makes a ton of power. Naturally with other exhaust systems. So I think we'll do one on this again just to kind of further drive the point home and show you guys that you can make power even though you're not spending super big money. So now durability, longevity, different story, but again, we just want to show that you can make power on these things even though they're pretty cheap. And last but not least, my heifer is going to be going on the dyno this week. I think I'm going to try to get it on tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get this thing on the dyno and retune it on a newish setup, I should say. Mainly just going to check it and make sure everything's running correctly and before we go and race it again. So I have high hopes for this bike. I'm going to be putting a little bit more effort into this. I'm going to put the ZX10 aside for a little bit and just enjoy my ZX10 instead of keep dumping money into it. There is something else we're going to do on the ZX10, but it's not going to really cost me any money, just some time and effort and some R&D. So this one I'm going to start driving again for a little bit on the track and getting back into the groove of things with this. So I'm leaving it stripped down for the dyno just in case if there's any issues. I can access things very quickly, very easily. Believe it or not, it does run and drive even though it's stripped. The Harley over here, this was also on another video. He threw a check engine light for the O2 sensors, so we are trying to diagnose that because we did delete the O2 sensors and it should be deleted through the ECU, but these are some of the little nuances that we deal with on some of the bikes, you know, after we flash them. Yeah, especially new bikes. You get these little, I call them ghost codes. It doesn't do anything detrimental to the bike. It doesn't hurt the bike. It doesn't make the bike drive like crap. It's just a light. The light kicks on and it's one of those things we got to kind of work through and we got to get we got to just delete the light. Some people freak out about it. Most people, Brandon's been through the ringer a bunch. So he already kind of understands this process and he's like, damn it.
Thought we got lucky this time.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be working on also today. And then we're also going to be packing the trailer, and that's a time-consuming process in itself. So another update, the boys, and they're getting the ZX10, the shop bike, back on the lift, and they're going to start going through that, and we're going to basically get down to the motor. We're gonna pull the motor again, and we're gonna redegree the camshafts. So we spoke to a few of the engine builders, and they there was 3 different ones, and basically all 3 of them said the same thing. They were all like, yeah, you could drop them in, ain't gonna do that great. You gotta do the degree. You gotta dial them in. You gotta custom degree it. So we were being, I don't want to say lazy. I was just more so trying to speed up the process so that we can get it back together and get it to an event. I mean, but again, and that's the thing. You test these things and you figure it out. Get the boys in. So we were talking to Brandon about his hobbies.
No.
Yep. Come here. Come here.
No.
So Brandon
I have
thinks
fun toys.
he thinks he's got cheap hobbies now.
I do. Mike, tell these guys my hobbies are cheap.
Sure, you never had a cheap hobby.
Yes, I have.
Let's hold on. Let's show them
What is happening right now? Does this look cheap?
replacing the whole right arm assembly, the upper and the lower arm, ball joint. Oh Lord, tie rods. Yeah, that's right, tie rods. Cheap. I have cheap hobby. Cheap. This is cheap compared to someone who owns like a jet or helicopters. What else?
I mean, it is coming off the price of a small Cessna or something. Cessna territory.
I did send you a jet the other a couple weeks ago. It was only like $100,000. You're halfway there.
So a little backstory with Brandon.
I like cool shit.
He used to have a couple of really badass street bikes, and then he got out of the game. It did stress him out. He was getting a little stressed with it all because the builds were getting obviously bigger.
Are you talking shit?
No, I'm saying
I lost interest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said because the builds were getting bigger, and every time they stepped up, it was like more stress. And honestly, it got a little bit more complicated because we were having to do. So there were some things outside of our skill set, let's say, like wiring. Well, like so, we don't know how to wire Motec. Admittedly, we there was also a few monster builds that he was doing with some Gixxers and I don't know, a few other things, and I was trying to push him to keep doing it, keep going bigger and better as well. But he honestly lost interest and moved on to other hobbies now. Now he likes to go slow. So this is Chris. Fuse Tech. So Fuse Tech. Now I used to work with Chris at our old location in Tampa, and a very smart man. Honestly, I get a lot of advice from Chris, and admittedly, I get a lot of information. So Chris taught me wiring. He taught me wiring. So Chris taught me how to wire in nitrous kits, air shifters. A lot. Yeah, a lot.
Related?
Yeah, basically anything wiring related. He's taught me a ton.
Chris!
I need some help!
You guys know what? That's why I changed my name on Instagram to The Wiring Guy.
Really?
It's because of you guys.
So he's helped us a bunch over the years, and after we sold our shop in Tampa 2.5, almost 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
3 years. God dang. So 3 years, and we've kind of gone our separate ways as far as he's opened another shop in Tampa, and I'm out in St. Pete, but still a really good friend. We're still trying to work together on some really cool stuff, on some 3D printed parts. Chris is an amazing 3D printer, also, or he does awesome stuff. You want to show him some of your stuff?
Oh yeah, I can.
All right. Yeah. I mean, just like some of what you're working on, I should say.
An AEM CD7, and he didn't have the panels for the steering column, so I built him this, so it would bolt around the steering column. It cracks open like a rod,
right?
Bolts in here,
yeah,
and holds it on the steering column. Then you can lock it in with this grub screw here. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah, it's all good. The wire's in there. Yeah, there it is. That's so dope, man.
Yeah, this is
I love that.
It's one of my earlier designs.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, but I did this for him, and he just upgraded to a Haltech IC7. So now I'm selling this to a guy with an S2000. He bought it off him. It's in Palm Beach.
Dope.
And then I made these little brackets right here. This is to convert the Supra idle air control, which uses 6 wires, to the Ford idle air control style that uses only 2 wires. So it only uses 2 or 1 output instead of 4.
Instead of 4 outputs.
Yeah, it uses 4 outputs.
Okay. So real quick, for those of you, for people watching, why would you want to go from 1 output versus the 4?
Well, if you're doing a stock ECU, what it does, or stock setup, you'll be using more outputs So if your ECU is limited to outputs, you're consuming them just to do one job, which is idle control.
Right.
So instead of using steppers, you just use a pulse, like a boost solenoid or something like that.
Right.
So it's on or off. So as you pulse it and you increase the pulse width or the what's that word? Duty cycle. It'll just up your idle or lower it depending on.
So it simplifies it.
Yeah. But
Bam.
sorry.
I know. I'm trying to like dumb it down for me and everybody else.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry.
But that's basically, simplify it, and also what space, right?
Well, you save outputs. So if you want to do run AC, or if you want to do nitrous control, so you have methanol control, anything like that, any outputs that you want to use, you save. Your three extras. Yeah.
So guys, when you go to standalone ECUs, you have a limited number of inputs and outputs.
Yes.
And that's basically what he's getting at is you get to save room, so now you have more outputs on the ECU that you can utilize for other things, and not consuming it over something silly as an idle. That's a lot of output for an idle control.
Yeah, it's actually 6 wires. You eliminate. Yeah, it's pretty in depth, and it's more simple to troubleshoot.
Right.
So,
versus the right.
Not to mention the idle air control for the Super is like $400 right now.
God, and the Ford is what?
Like $30.
Good old America.
That's right. The Eagles. No, but it makes everything more simple. But it's just understanding it, and you can go from the 3 outputs is the difference between lower end standalone and a higher end standalone. So you can actually save money with using that bracket.
Right.
I mean, I think I sold it for $50 or something like that.
Okay.
So $50 and a $30 sensor gets you idle control.
Yeah. So we're gonna be working with Chris, and hopefully we'll be making some badass products here too for the bike world. He primarily does automotive stuff as of right now. That's his niche, and we're gonna try to bring him at least a little bit into the dark side.
We'll try. Listen, I enjoy the bikes though. I just don't. I like mine slow. You guys like them fast.
I mean, that's the thing. So back at the old shop, I did the bikes, and Chris was primarily on the car side. Him and my brother worked hand in hand. I did the motorcycle stuff. So a lot of times I would work with my brother or Chris. A lot of times Chris, and we would bounce ideas off of each other. So I'd be like, hey man, he would ask me questions about bikes, like how do you guys do XYZ, like because bikes are ITB. Cars, it's not as common, so there'd be some ITB questions you'd ask me, as far as the staged injection and things like that, and how are we bringing in the upper row versus the lower row, and just so we bounced a lot of ideas off each other, and it was awesome having that dynamic. I feel like we grew a lot when we did that, that dynamic.
I don't call any. When it comes to bike stuff, I'm either going to figure it out by myself or I'm calling you. If I can't figure it out, I'm calling you, and if you don't know, I'm not asking anyone else.
Yeah, so, it's cool, but that's you
usually I can't remember a time where you're like, I just don't know. Like you've done so many bikes that when I want to get into that weird niche of like doing ITBs or something custom, you always have an answer. Something
related.
You always have an answer for me.
But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, you already know.
Yeah. We go way back. I ain't gonna lie.
Tell you, when we didn't have any facial hair.
Yeah, now they're gray. We had no facial hair. Now we got gray facial hair.
It's like a Just for Men commercial.
That's salt and pepper, bro.
That's right.
But yeah, man, dope. All right, cool, bro. Yeah. Yeah, Chris randomly stopped by today, which was awesome. Honestly, it was badass.
Yeah,